Hello, I'd like to talk to you today about the dirty little secret that's behind the wind farms that they're putting in this country. They tell us that these wind farms are good, if you believe that. But once you find out the facts, you're going to think otherwise. Currently, this country produces about 12 gigawatts of power. That's 12 trillion watts of power for the wind farms that are currently in this country. Under the Obama administration, they want to increase this output by 20% over approximately the next 20 years, which would bring production from wind generation up to about 300 gigawatts or 300 trillion watts of power. This seems pretty impressive when you think about it, but when you look at the numbers, you're going to think otherwise. Wind farms only produce power approximately 20% of the time. So if you're looking at wind farms that produce 300 gigawatts, you're only truly looking at a total production of about 60 gigawatts or 60 trillion watts of power that will be produced. The amount of money that it's going to take to build these wind farms is approximately $20.6 billion over the next 20 years. This doesn't include all the land that it will take to build this. In order to produce this amount of energy, it will require that the country construct 15,000 windmills or wind turbines. This will take up approximately the area of 12.5 million acres, which is approximately the size of Maryland and New Jersey combined. Even if we could do this, the amount of raw materials that it would take to produce all of these wind turbines and to build all of these wind turbines and all the supporting infrastructure, the carbon footprint is far greater than if we were to run all of our coal plants at maximum capacity for the next 40 years. So you ask yourself, why is the administration pushing the wind turbines if they think that this is such a good, environmentally friendly issue? Well, the nearest thing that I can think of is they're trying to get our dependence off of fossil fuel down. But when you look at it, all that the creation of building these wind turbines is doing is it's creating our dependency for other nations. Well, you ask yourself, well, how is that? The U.S. currently only manufactures about 30% of the wind turbines that it builds. So we import the rest of these wind turbines from China, Sweden, Norway, and other countries to be erected here in the United States. So when you truly look at it, the benefits of these wind turbines do not benefit the Americans like the administration tells us they do. And even if the administration could build all of these wind turbines are built far from populated areas in places like eastern Oregon and eastern Washington. So you ask yourself, how do you get all of this energy to the major metropolises of the United States? Well, the next step they will have to do is build transmission. Currently, right now, they're trying to build a transmission line through Clark County, and they have the NIMBY problem going on over there, not in my backyard. Nobody wants new transmission lines to be built, but everybody wants to build wind turbines. And without new transmission and an improved infrastructure, these wind turbines, they can spin all they want and generate all the power they want, but that power goes nowhere because there's no way to deliver it to your house or to mine to run my computer that I'm recording on right now or yours. And another primary concern of wind turbines and the infrastructure that goes along with them is acquiring the right-of-way. A lot of places, people don't want new lines because they don't want to give up any more of their property. Because with the creation of power line right-of-ways comes the problem of trespassing and other issues of vandalism. So one would ask themselves, well, why don't they just use the infrastructure they have? Well, currently here in the Northwest, the BPA has put a hold on all transmission from wind farms because last summer the wind farms were spinning at maximum capacity and they almost burnt the transmission lines down to the ground. And what I mean by this is they generated so much power that that the Bonneville Power Administration had to take the dams offline to ensure that the extra power would not seriously damage the major transmission lines that come down the Columbia Gorge. Another primary concern with using windmills is they do not adjust for base load. Base load is the load that is required by a utility to run and meet its customers' needs on a daily basis. Wind turbines, as everyone knows, the wind blows a little bit down and it might blow a lot later, but it's not consistent for protecting for base load for what utilities need and what their customers need. So basically what this means is wind turbines make everybody feel good, but in reality they do nothing for us, for the simple fact is they cost us more money than they will actually generate in returns over the long run. The life on a wind turbine is approximately 7 to 15 years, depending upon what model is built. So in my belief, I believe the wind turbines that they are building in eastern Oregon and eastern Washington are nothing but a boondoggle. It's a way for utility companies to pat themselves on the back and to patronize their ratepayers and say, look, we're doing something good for you and for the environment, when in all actuality, the only thing that the utilities are doing is gathering huge amounts of money in government subsidies to do something so they can make a profit at. So if I were to say anything, I would say that we build no more wind turbines. We take the wind turbines that we have, build ample transmission for them, and leave it at that. I can't see spending my tax dollars on a corporation that already has lots of money and the government wants to give more money to for an incentive just so we can feel good. I would rather not feel good and spend the money on something that is much more needed than feel good and spend the money on something that's not needed. So, in saying that, I would like to state again that wind turbines are a dirty little product of today's society that everybody thinks is going to solve the energy problems, but in reality, when you look at it, they are nothing more than another problem for the energy industry.